Hey guys, welcome back. I'm EDC Gunner, and this little guy on my wrist just proves that you don't have to pay arm and a leg to wear and enjoy a Rolex watch, especially if you're not buying into the hype and all the hot models lately. Of course, if you can afford it, you can pay over retail and whatnot, but if you're just someone who would like to get a nice, simple Rolex without breaking the bank, these are still out there. These are vintage watches. This is Oyster Date Precision, or what I like to call them, just Precision, Rolex Precision. And these are very cool, manual wound, most of them, 34 mils, but it wears so nice on the wrist that actually I don't mind it. I have 7.5-inch wrist and I can still wear these. So what you want to do is to find a nice vintage band like this one for it, and of course these come with the plastic crystal and the Cyclops, and this one is particularly nice example. It has gilded indices and very nice. I love these pieces so much because they are bargains, and it's an oyster case, so it has a screw down crown, and if you have all the seals correct and checked, this can be a bulletproof watch. And this is especially for someone who likes to have a nice things, but he doesn't really particularly care about the modern watches, modern Rolexes, big, bold, in your face Rolex watches. So you want something nicer and classier, but you still want something from a recognizable brand name. Then this is one of the options as well. You can get a vintage Vacheron, vintage APs, and you can get vintage Omega. But all those vintage watches are more complicated and more fragile than the Rolex. So Rolex has always been making no nonsense movements, whether it's automatic, whether it's manual wound, so you have no issues there. It's very simple movement. It's like what you call a bulletproof movement. So if you service it once, if it's been serviced, it will serve you many years before it needs another service. And these watches are so simple to work on. Any watchmaker where they sold can fix it, can repair it. And when you have a watch like this, it's important to you find a independent watchmaker so you can have it periodically service it, like what the watchmaker tells you. But every, let's say, 5 years, even 10 years, these watches can go 20 years without service easily, but every 5 or 10 years you want to occasionally service it, just lubricate it, change the oil like in the car, so the watch can serve you many years. And it's a charming piece, charming watch. It's a Rolex, but it's not in your face Rolex. So modern equivalent of this watch would be I don't know, Datejust, Explorer 1, and Oyster Perpetuals. So these would be modern equivalents, which are excellent choices. However, they are all going over retail. So I think if you want to go the vintage road, this is one of the great examples. And you can find these watches at relatively low cost prices, like for example the price of some of the fancy Longines watch or fancy Oris watch or something like that. So you can get a piece of this for the, I don't know, Oris money or Zen money or Longines money. And I do like those watches I mentioned, but I think this is just a bit more nicer and more classier.